So who are you going to vote for?
Well, I mean,
really?
I'm gonna vote for Bernie.
All right. I was just curious. I don't want to get any more political than that. But I mean,
Who are you gonna vote for?
I'm Bernie. I will say this though, that when I see like just sort of the reaction I get from Mila, who when I talk to her about it, she becomes a little bit less, and she's not a voting age, so it's not terribly relevant. But the idea of a woman president is really, I think, very powerfve and
no,
important.
man, it's like that's the thing I always deal with, because like I really don't pay attention to I have not watched. I literally the only time I've watched 5 or 6 minutes of a debate, and that was just last night. Was Bernie and Hillary, right? And I watched it because Dave Anthony was watching it on his computer. I've really remained detached from the whole thing. I love the idea of a woman president. I just like it as it is. I like that idea. I think we should have that. But and then when I watch these debates for 5 minutes, I'm like, God damn it! They're all so it's almost impossible to see who they really are. Bernie tends to operate at sort of an overheated level all the time, which I can relate to. He's very expressive with his hands. His face gets a little aggravated. So I guess what I'm trying to say is there's a Semitic thing that I relate to. But it becomes very difficult in terms of if he gets in, Sam, really, how much of a prisoner is he going to be held by the Senate and Congress, really?
Well, I mean, I would imagine as much as she is. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, but presumably, I mean, if we have a Democratic president, there's a good chance, theoretically anyways, that we're going to have a Democratic Senate. But in the main, I think that they're going to be just as sort of handcuffed in some respects. And really then the big issue becomes about appointing. Who are they going to appoint? Who are they going to appoint to the Supreme Court? Who are they going to appoint to the Treasury Secretary? And that type of thing. So I don't know. I mean, it's so
crazy. That was the interesting thing about my conversation with the president, however anybody felt about, what I did or didn't ask him, was that his sense of optimism was really, deeply rooted in his understanding that incremental progress, no matter how small, is the best that he could hope for.
Right.
And I thought he was pretty honest about that. You know what I mean? How do you keep going, given the situation you've been in for 8 years? And I really believed him that he said, look, if I can move it just a little, that's the way this shit works. Just a little. Towards, put something more progressive or something that I can be proud of actually achieving on a legislative level, then that's great. So, our expectations most of the time are outlandish given the system we're in.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's true too. I mean, and then the question is does asking for more than incremental change, does that help you get incremental change or hurt you from getting incremental change? I mean, in other words, even if there's an incremental increase on that increment, I mean, that I think is the question that a lot of people
That's a classic Sederism. You should write that down.
I don't
even know what you said. It was something. There's incremental within the increment. I liked it. It went right by, but I think it's a real portal into your thinking.
Yes, I'm always looking for the crumbs. That's me. I'm a nickel and dimer from an old time nickel and dimer. That's basically
that's a classic Seder-esque broadcasting trope. There's incremental change within the increment. That's where you live. I just hope you know that.
I get calls for that all the time. Can you come on and do the incremental increment thing for us?